So creators, thank you for joining me today. In this video, I'm going to be showing you the process of this painting, while also discussing the topic of today's video. But before we get to that, I want to tell you a little bit about the process of this piece and how it came to be. So I wanted to do something that related to St. Patrick's Day and just Ireland altogether. But by the time this video comes out, St. Patrick's Day has been long gone. But unfortunately, a little thing called life got in the way. But I'm just happy that I finally finished this and I'm able to bring this video out to you. I also wanted to do this because for some reason or another, I've always had this weird obsession with Ireland. I don't exactly remember how it started, but ever since then, I've had this love for the country. It's got a wonderful culture. The people seem very humble and friendly and fun. And of course, the landscape and the nature aspect of it just looks amazing. I mean, they don't call it the Emerald Isle for nothing. And it's been a dream of mine to actually go there one day, and I'm hoping to make that a reality soon. So as you can tell from the main subject of this piece is that I wanted to play off some of the tropes that Ireland has been made famous for. So I thought it'd be a funny idea to make a anthropomorphic sheep farmer harvesting some potatoes. Yeah, you don't get more Irish than sheep and potatoes. But I just thought it was all in good fun, and I just thought it was a fun little idea. So my whole idea for this was to, of course, put the sheep farmer in a Irish landscape with mountains surrounding it. And as you'll see in a little bit, I actually painted the sky with the colors of the Irish flag, which I'm not gonna lie, I think that was a pretty genius idea of mine. I sound like I'm pretty full of myself when I actually say that, though. What wasn't so genius of me, though, was not planning anything before actually diving into this piece. And what I mean by that is not having a battle plan as far as color, composition, and other factors that go along with it. So I just wanted to talk about what I learned throughout making this piece and also how it could possibly apply to you as well. Now, I'm not saying that all art needs a plan. Like, say for example, you want to do something where you can just turn off your brain and just throw some paint on a canvas and just jot it all over the place without having to think of where anything goes, like making an abstract painting or drawing, for example, or just simply making something with your brain turned off altogether. That's totally cool. You do whatever you want. Although, depending on the situation though, like for example, making prints, planning a comic book, or writing a story, or planning out a commission, there should be some kind of battle plan before you actually start the final product. And for me, having a battle plan, in my opinion anyways, will lead to a better result, and a better result means that I'll definitely be a lot happier with how any art piece that I make turns out. I have a few tips or examples that are steps of which I wish I could have done to make this piece probably better than what came to be. And they are starting with small thumbnails, either from traditional or digital sketches, to black and white value sketches, to choosing the color scheme. And the reason why I bring these examples up is because there's something that I wish I focused on beforehand, and there are definitely areas in this piece that I could improve on. So I'm going to talk about the things that I wanted to improve on, but before I do that, I just wanted to mention right here that I'm adding some undertones, some cool color undertones, just so that I could add some of the shading first before I add any of the color. Although I do wish that I would have gone with a sort of warmer tone, like maybe a reddish brown, because I think that would have popped out the shadows a little bit more. But at the same time, I'm not too sure because, again, I didn't test it out beforehand. I just went into it with no plan at all, which is the reason why I made this idea for the video to begin with. So one of the areas that I would improve on is the difference in line width. And what I mean by that is the ink lines for the background. So for me personally, what I would do is I would probably use a smaller line width for the background and use a wider line width for the foreground where the sheep and the plants are at. And the reason why I say this is because with a larger line width, I think the sheep would pop out a little bit more, and for me anyways, the line art being the same width is somewhat distracting, and it just looks like it's all fighting each other for attention. The second area that I would definitely improve on in this piece are the color choices. So I spent way too long deciding which colors to choose during the painting process, and it caused me to overblend and make some choices that I wasn't too happy about. So for example, the mountains, I mostly painted on the go and didn't have a color plan or layout plan for them. And I think they would personally look better without the ink, or like I said, a smaller ink width. Or possibly maybe I didn't add enough detail with the ink. I'm not really too sure on that. Also, as you'll see in a little bit, I'm not too much of a fan of the colors on the sheep, mainly on the clothes, because I ended up overblending and the shading looked a little too muddy. I can even tell, like, on the fur or the wool itself, that the colors look a little muddy and a little too overblended, and it kind of still makes me wish that if I had gone into it with a little bit more of a better plan, that maybe the shading would look less muddy. But other than that, it could have ended up a little bit worse, and I'm still fairly happy with how it turned out nonetheless. Also, I do kind of like the orange highlight that I added on the vest and on the hat too, and on the fur as well. So I guess it's not too bad. Maybe I'm just being a little too hard on myself. One thing that I did forget to mention though is that the contrast between the sheep and the mountain, they seem to blend in a little bit, because the colors on the sheep are both a mix of cool and warm, and I wish I would have made the vest into a warmer color, like more of an orange or maybe more of a reddish brown, so that it could pop out a little bit more and not blend in with the dark, cool colors of the mountain. And that's just something I would change as well. The third and final area that I would fix is the composition. And as far as this one goes, I just kind of wish I made the sheep a bit bigger and more of the focus of the image. One problem that I've noticed lately is that I tend to make my main subjects too small in comparison to the rest of the image. And when I do that, it's not only hard to see what I'm doing when I paint, but I also think it gives less visual hierarchy, meaning that the piece is leading your eye from one main subject to the other parts of the piece. And that's just a small part that I would fix as well. I really hope this video helped you out, knowing that having a battle plan for your art can actually help you out a lot. And even though every piece that you make may not come out the way you wanted to, it's all good, because it's all about learning, and you'll learn everything as you go. So with that said, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content like this. And until next time, stay creative. Bye everybody.